they don't know what's going on, and they're already looking up at the machine, and
Right.
I tell them, I
They
don't know.
see that AC cab.
I don't,
and they're
and
like,
I tell them, I'm like, I don't know how you have the courage to say that you know this and put yourself. I would never put myself in that situation
Right.
and say, okay, say crane. I never ran it and just
Yeah.
go up there and I can run a crane.
right.
So they come out here like that. I mean, I would never have that courage to do that. And a lot
Right.
of people now, they just think that it, like we were talking, they have the mentality that it's just any old construction worker. And I feel like it takes intelligence to
Right.
be out here and doing this work.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Burgess Civil Podcast, where our greatest asset is our people. I'm your host, Ben Burgess. I'm the owner and founder of Burgess Civil. We've been in business since 2014, so we've been on a 10-year construction journey, and we have decided to jump into the podcast game now to let people know about our company, the industry, as well as spotlighting our people. I've followed a lot of construction-related podcasts over the years, and what I've kind of seen throughout the years on these podcasts is we've got a lot of owners and high-level executives and project managers and supervisors on these podcasts, but there's so many other people that go into making the construction industry great, and there's so many great people that start out with a shovel in their hands and are able to work their way up through this industry and hold really high-level positions and be paid very well and help produce for themselves and for their families. And so our goal on this podcast is to kind of flip the script on what I've seen from different podcasts out there and really share the stories of our people that have come up through the trade, that are the true production of the company. Myself and the people in our office, we're all overhead. If the field can't produce with our field managers, then we can't make money and we can't continue to reinvest and help grow people's careers. And the bad part about that is a lot of times people look at the construction industry and say, oh, you work in the dirt, or you work on a piece of equipment, or you hold a shovel. That's not a good industry to be in. That's not something you want to do. You only do that if you can't do anything else. And we want to really help try to change that narrative and tell people the positive things about construction. The fact that you can come do this work without putting yourself into student loan debt, or you can go to work right away at 18 and start producing for yourself and your family and earning money and saving money. And there's so many positive things. There's so many opportunities to grow. There's so many opportunities to advance your career in construction. Our company has tons of examples of this. We've got guys that have come in as laborers and become operators. We've got men and women that have come in as operators and become foremen that have now become superintendents. And so those are the stories we want to make sure to tell and make sure people know that there's a very positive aspect to the construction industry, and really your potential is unlimited if you want to pursue this career. So with that said, I've got another very special guest on our podcast today. I've got Mr. Gustavo Limas. Gustavo has been with the company for about 5 years, since 2019. Came in as a track hoe operator, and now he is running one of our most productive pipe crews. Gustavo comes from a large family of people that are now in the construction industry, but had mostly been in the agricultural world prior to that. And Gustavo and one of his older brothers kind of took that leap into construction, and they found great opportunity in the industry and great opportunity to Burgess Civil. And now Gustavo's running one of our most productive pipe crews. And we want to have him kind of come in and share his story and share his experience in the industry, and hopefully tell you all some of the great things about what this industry can offer. So Gustavo, welcome to the podcast today.
Hey.
All right. Appreciate you being on. So kind of rewinding the story, we talked a little bit off camera about kind of your history in construction, and you go through high school, you graduate high school, you're trying to figure out, all right, what's the next step? You've got an older brother that's worked in some construction related jobs, and so you had some decisions to make. So
Yeah.
how did you find yourself moving into a career in construction?
Yeah, well, it was, just wanting to help out, have my own stuff. It was, I should, I could have went to school because I graduated, but I chose to have money, early, and chose to start working early, and I've been doing it for 20 years now, and it's been good to me. So
yeah, tell us what you were doing when you first started, and how much money you were making, and where that money was going, and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I first started, it was 20 years ago, so you can only imagine it was $7 an hour starting, I want to say, and
yeah,
and it was It was great. I mean, actually, it was less money, I guess, but it was the economy was different. So
Yeah.
I liked it. I always liked, working with the dirt and stuff. When I was a kid, I used to like playing with my cars and dirt and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just always, it was always like calling me, I guess, that I like to do that, build,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of like being outside, being in the elements, getting your hands dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You knew you could go make money right away, and you didn't have to stop and wait and go do 4 years of school or any of that kind of stuff to get going.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like my main thing. And, and I seen potential in it. I could see that even though I didn't know the industry like I know now, but I kind of seen that it was a bigger thing. I was like, this house that I'm living on, it was built by, when I was first beginning, I would think about it. It was like people that do what I did, what I'm doing now did this.
Right. Right.
And now I'm doing stuff like that. We're building,
Yeah.
we're building everything
Subdivisions.
for the houses. For homes.
And then someday you finish it, you get to go back and drive through it and say,
you see it
hey,
all
I built
done.
that.
Yeah. I was there. I was part of that. And
right. Now, I know you're from the Dade City area, which is outside of Tampa, a little bit more of an agricultural country area. And I know you said, kind of the demographics in construction have changed a lot since you got in. You said you didn't see a lot of Hispanic people, kind of working in the trade when you started. And I think that's changed a lot, right?
Yeah, it definitely changed a lot. Yeah, there's more of a mixture now. It's more diverse than it was before. Yeah, it was hard to get an opportunity, to be on the track where it's just the way it was,
Right.
I see it. It's, some people think that there ain't a difference that, but everything is slowly getting better, but I can see it,
Yeah. And you said now even your crew is pretty much entirely Hispanic.
Predominant.
But you said you got people from all over the world in your crew, right?
They're not specifically Mexican, There's Cubans, Dominicans, from everywhere.
Right. Yeah. So you get to learn every different style of Spanish then.
Their little tones or whatever, different words are different. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool. So you shared a story with me about your older brother, George, and how, he kind of got into construction. He went out of state and saw some different types of things being done. Tell us a little bit more about that and how that kind of spurred your thinking a little bit.
Yeah. So when he was here in Florida, he ended up leaving out of town to Houston with my uncles and started working there with them and as a laborer, and started seeing some cool stuff, with construction and heavy equipment and stuff like that. And a year or two later, he decided to come back to Florida and he searched for a job in construction. And I used to always see him coming from work when I was in school, and I would see him and he would tell me about how he was digging and how this machine and it just like made me want to do it. He was my older brother. So it's like,
yeah, kind of looked up to him.
To me, I feel like it's something a lot of people might think it's, anybody can do it, but it takes time and experience to do on equipment and know what you're doing out there.
Yeah. Now, so when you got started in the industry, you were working more as a laborer. How long did it take you before you had the opportunity to get on a piece of equipment and start training and learning? Like, what does that process look like?
For me back then, it was a little. I see it was slower than it is now.
Yeah.
For me back then, it took me. I was a laborer into pipe layer like 5 years.
Okay.
And then they let me jump on a machine.
Right.
Luckily, I started with a new company.
Yeah.
They took my crew, so the guy, he had appreciated me and said, "I want him on the machine."
Cool. Yeah, he saw your hard work and the fact
I put in for him, laid a lot of, pipe.
Right. So you would say now even you see the acceleration in the industry being even faster because there's like so much demand for our services. There's so much stuff being built in the Tampa Bay area. So if you see someone that comes in and works hard, you identify that guy and you're like,
you want him.
Yeah, right.
Like right now, just an operator, I've been here, for 5 years, and I've seen a handful of operators that are even to that where I can say, man, I would want him to be an operator for my company.
Right. Gotcha.
Because, if you're small, you ain't going to make it if you're not producing 300 feet a day.
Right. No doubt. Yeah. It's
once you become bigger, you have more.
It's a very thin line between making money and losing money. Yeah. So with that opportunity, like you said, you were probably kind of patient, right? You're in there. You're like, all right, I'll labor, I'll do the pipe layer work. And I'm sure now people they probably want to accelerate that process really quick, right?
They don't know what's going on, and they're already looking up at the machine, and I tell them, I don't know.
They see that AC cab.
I tell them, I'm like, I don't know how you have the courage to say that this and put yourself. I would never put myself in that situation and say, okay, say a crane. I never ran it and just go up there and I can run a crane.
Right.
So they come out here like that. I mean, I would never have that courage to do that. And a lot of people now, they just think that it, like we were talking, they have the mentality that it's just any old construction worker. And I feel like it takes intelligence to be out here and doing this work.
Yeah. I loved when you said that, because I think that's another like misconception about construction. People say anybody can do it, I can run that piece of equipment. I can do X, Y, and Z. And you're like, it's really a trade. It's a skill. And you've got to be at a place where people are willing to help train you and invest in your growth to create those opportunities for you. It doesn't just happen overnight.
It doesn't happen overnight. That's what I tell my guys. I mean, like my loader guy, he was like, well, they gave me the promotion and this and that. And basically he was looking for, trying to tell me that he's right. He's like, look, the guys that are making the money that you're asking for been on the loader for at least 10 years.
Right.
And they've been in the company for a long time. If we just gave you the opportunity, we're giving you a chance to learn now.
Right.
Just wait. You're going to get your money. You just have to wait. You're not experienced like that, bro.
Right. Yeah. And I know you even talked about, even right now, you've got, over 20 years of experience, going on 25 years of experience. Yes, but even when your crew's shorthanded, sometimes you've still got that skill where you said, hey man, I can't sit back a couple of things. You can't sit back in the truck and just watch everybody work. Yeah. Some days you're shorthanded. You have to go run the excavator, but you still got that skill's not going to go away because you built it up over so many years.
Well-learned stuff is never forgotten. You know what I'm saying? When you learn something the right way, you're never going to you can't go wrong. That's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. They can never take that skill away from you.
Yeah. Like what I know right now and to this point now, I'm seeing it more because I'm older now. I'm like, I'm starting to feel more, like you said, a little more better. Like I got more, I know
your confidence
the ins and
level
outs. I know
like
how people think that there's so much money in this industry,
right,
to be made.
Right. Yeah. You kind of seeing the whole vision now of really what's possible and what the opportunity is for you and everybody.
What the value of stuff, like the excavators, what you have. I'm seeing what you have, and and
I know.
Maybe one day I could have what you have. Start off with one or two pieces of equipment. 100,000 something. 100,000, 200,000, and there's a lot of work out there.
That new Komatsu excavator is about $500,000. So
and you know
prices
what?
have gone up.
And you know what? With that machine, machine that you have right there, it makes us do the stuff way faster.
Yeah.
But you have you have that power. To have to. Somebody else might say, "Oh, let me bring a smaller one."
Right.
Because that one's too big. There's no such thing as too big. The bigger, the better.
Right. Yeah, you can't outsize anything. Yeah.
And nobody can catch it. If they, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what they say. That big machine like that. Run it to its full potential. You're going to produce.
That's always one of the interesting things for me in this industry too. Like you think about an end dump, right? That's a $400,000 to $500,000 piece of equipment, and you could put someone pretty much that's brand new to go run that. You're not going to do that with an excavator, obviously, but with the end dump, it's always interesting to me.
Simple, it's driving.
But it's crazy to think that you think about a car and then you think about an end dump, and that's a $400,000 vehicle. You know what I mean?
But a lot of the workers don't know that.
Yeah, right.
Don't know what the value of what they have.
And that's why we've got to get better at educating and helping people understand.
I know when I have that machine, I would and it's just the way that I think. I'm thinking, man, I want, what I'm saying? We need to make for what we have, you know what I'm saying? We need to make at least I know roughly what a day's work, what we take from you, so I want to make you more than that, so you can have left over, right?
Yeah. Well, that's how we do the raises and the bonuses and all those good things. So make sure to get, okay. One of the things that you talked about in construction is kind of really trying to kind of get your guys to see like you almost have to do more than what's expected. You just talked about that. Like if we're just breaking even, we're not getting anywhere. Right. And like, I think you've always had that mentality, that mindset, like taking ownership and saying, all right, let's do more, let's do above and beyond, because that's what kind of helps us keep progressing and moving forward and creating those opportunities. Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I've always been taught, like my parents, you always got to be helpful. You know what I'm saying? Like, say if I was roommating with you and I'm not working, I'll be taking out the trash. I'll be doing stuff and I'll make myself valuable to you in a way so I can be there. You know what I'm saying? What do you need me for if I'm not of any value, right? At the end of the day, you don't need me for nothing. It's just a body.
Right. Yeah, I might have to get you to come to my house and teach the kids a couple lessons.
Oh man, my guys, I tell them, y'all are like my kids, man.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel young sometimes, man. I don't I forget that I'm 40.
Yeah.
And some of the guys are like younger than me, you know,
Right.
and it's,
yeah.
but then I'm giving them that advice, you know,
Right.
because I want them to be better so they can help me.
Yeah.
So
But
I can relax.
That's one of the more beautiful things about the industry too, is like someone that came in like you at 18, look at all the experience you've already got. And now at your age, you're already able to help the next generation of people start coming up, you know? So,
And I tell them, help me so I can help you. As soon as you start making me look good and I know I can trust you, then as soon as Ben or somebody said, oh, we need a new foreman or something, I'm going to be like, hey, this guy knows his stuff.
he's ready.
Yeah, you know, and I'm going to help you in that way.
Right.
And you know, or I might move up, you know, I might change up.
Right.
I mean,
right. Yeah. If
I
we
told
keep
them, I'm
growing,
not going to be
always,
here with you all the time. I tell them they love me over there. You know, my guys, they,
yeah.
you know, anything we need, you know, money, whatever, they're like,
yeah,
they work with me because I treat them right.
Right. And that's how, and it's more about leadership at this point for the role that you're in. And you've seen it here internally with your older brother, George came, you were his track operator. He's the pipe foreman. Now we've moved him up to pipe supervisor. So he's overseeing all the pipe crews, but he probably doesn't have to check on you very much because he has that level of trust to know that you guys are doing it the right way.
He'll call me and stuff. And,
he's got other places you need to spend more time. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. You talked about a word that really kind of struck with me, complacency, you know, and you talked a little bit about like your crew, you know, how one day everything could be going great.
Yeah.
And then the next day you gotta be more involved. Tell me more about complacency and how it can kind of be the enemy a little bit.
Yeah. It's like I feel like the more you get into a comfort zone is when you more need to be careful. It's like, like I said, my age tells me this now. Before I didn't care, you know, I would be more relaxed, you know what I'm saying? Not as that mentality, you know. I guess the maturity too is a lot, you know, that has to do with it. I feel like maturity is big. I mean, somebody young to be a foreman like this it's a lot of responsibility. You know, you got 8 guys, grown men that you gotta control in a way, you know, because they all have different backgrounds. They all have stuff going on. So it's just
You got to care for them every day.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about, you know, in our core values, the I in team is for that self-care component, you know, financial, physical, and mental. And like, they've got to know that you're there and you've got their back and you're gonna watch out for them, right?
Yeah, and I'm always in between them. You know, if I see that they're not communicating or one is angry, I'll stop them. I like, what the heck is going on here, man? I was like, we come here to work. And now if y'all are not gonna be able to, because if they're not working good together, you're losing. You know what I'm saying? Because they're mad at each other, not wanting to listen. This and that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you're not gonna, you know, my whole crew's already together. You're the one that's gonna, you know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, we're gonna have to put you somewhere else. We'll find you somewhere. Or I'll be there. They're looking for a good pipe layer over there. You know what I'm saying? I just scare them like that.
Yeah.
To get them, you know, because at the end, I don't want them to be best friends, but I want them to accomplish our task.
Yeah, you got to have good working relationships.
Yeah, they can't be sitting down and one working. I don't like that. I like them all to be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm out there getting wet or I'm out there, you know, doing stuff, you better be out there too.
So you kind of feel like you've got kind of a lead by example style.
Yes,
then.
that's my style. Definitely. I'm out there with them. You know, if I see them doing anything that they're not supposed to, I'm correcting them. If they have anything to complain, you know, the guys, I want them to be happy. You know what I'm saying? And I want them to see that I'm out there giving it all I got.
You want to ask them to do something that you can't or won't do, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That I haven't done. I've done it all. I've done it. You know what I'm saying? Tie-ins, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I've been in, how they say, shit deep.
Yeah. Well,
literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, what we do for sure. Well, but you know, that's the beauty of what you do too, right? Of our industry, right? If you come in at 18, there's no expectation. It's basically, do you show up and are you willing to work?
And them are the key things right there.
That's
that
it.
You have the will to be there and work.
Right.
Listen.
And then you're that type of person, or you identify those type of people on your crews that those are the ones that move up.
Yes.
Then those create the opportunity. Then there's a whole nother set of pressure because now you're looking for those next set of guys that just check those boxes, you know?
Yeah. Like right now I have two new guys, you know what I'm saying? And I keep the ones that I know that, man, I got it to a thing where like, oh, is this an older guy? But look, I know he's going to be here every day. You know, when it's an older guy, you know, they're more younger guys. You know, they go out on the weekends.
Their priorities are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a guy in the
and I'll start teaching these guys. So as soon as my pipe layer in there, I already got somebody that can go lay pipe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't ever get caught all the way with my pants all the way down.
Right, right. You gotta have a backup plan.
I have a backup plan. Yeah.
Well, that's we've got a guy in our company, Burnaby. Do you know Burnaby at all?
Yes, I've met him.
He's in his late 70s, and he's one of the hardest working laborers that we got.
He's tough. He's tough.
Yeah, he's got family back in Mexico that he's still taking care of.
Yeah, that man's tough.
Yeah. So like you said, sometimes as you go, we see that a lot in the industry in their 20s, man. You see people jump and they're looking for something that's not there.
Yeah, they want all this. They want the world.
Right.
I've been like that.
Yeah, their priorities aren't right, but then you get into your 30s and you start to see what a good company's like and how you should be treated.
Definitely.
Then you start to stick.
Yep.
You know?
You start learning.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. What are some other, are there any great things about the industry, someone like yourself that's been in it for a while, that people listening or watching this should know about the industry that might be considering construction?
What I like about the industry is that there's so much opportunity to move up. There's not like, you don't get to a step and then that's it. You can always, own your own company. You know what I'm saying? Start, even if it's not in this business, like I can do a lot of different things that go with this, like inverts, cement work. You know what I'm saying? I can go clear. I got so much I hate to say it, but I feel like I'm worth gold to somebody that is in the industry. Like if I was to go anywhere, I can make money.
Right.
I can dig a pond. I don't do that.
Right.
I'm doing utilities now, but I can dig ponds.
Your value's laying pipe, but yeah,
I know grades. Once you know grades, locations, you can do.
Right. For sure.
You know your spots, your points.
Mm-hmm. So what is Gustavo's been at this company for 5 years now, and thank you for 5 great years, and you've stuck with us through a lot of changes and ups and downs. And
yes, sir.
We've been there for you too, and hopefully it's been beneficial for both sides. But what does Gustavo in 5 more years look like? What is your path or your vision?
5 years from now, I want to either be like a superintendent either for you or for a company. You know what I'm saying? Managing whole freaking projects and getting people together and organizing stuff so stuff is working like it's supposed to.
Yeah, running bigger projects for us, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe like not a foreman, but running like more people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and coordinating and
leadership is the key when it comes to supervising.
I think
those
I'm
guys.
I'm more settled in now than what I was 4 years ago or 3 years ago. Like more, my mind is more set.
Right.
I see a bigger picture.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you kind of see the whole vision now.
Yeah. Before I would get lazy about stuff, but I know that's that's important, the management, your paperwork and all that. That's going to be my next step. So I need to get on my toes with that.
Right.
More my writing and
I know you said that.
Speaking, my words. I need to find better words. I know that.
This is good practice for that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely is.
And you talked about that. This has been a struggle for us. The industry's changed a lot where there's a lot more technology now. Mm-hmm. So the tablets, the job of a foreman 5 or 10 years ago is a lot different than it is now. Because the amount of paperwork, the liability, the timesheets, the reports every day. But I like that you're seeing the opposite side of it. You're not saying this is one more thing they're asking me to do. This is an opportunity.
Like that. Now I'm trying to grow into that. You know what I'm saying? Like now I don't want to hang out with people with shovels in 5 years. In 5 years, I want to be hanging out with people that have ties and have businesses and that are so I can, get involved with that group.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be patient. I'm not greedy like that. I'm happy now with what I have, but I want more.
There's always more. Yeah.
Money can, like that country song says, what is it? But it can get me a truck. Money doesn't mean everything, but it can buy me what I need.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Provide for your family. I know you said you got 3 kids and wife and all that. Yeah. But I love your mindset on that. Like use that as the opportunity to differentiate yourself so that when we're looking at, hey, who will make the next good supervisor? Whose paperwork's the best? Whose time's in on time? Who's got everything documented properly when there's something going on a job site? Then that's the person we're going to look at to say, well, that person could be a supervisor because they're already running their crew to that highest level,
Definitely. That's what I want to, show. I don't want to ask. I want to just show in one day, you know what I'm saying? Somebody say, hey, I think you're ready, or we need somebody.
Yeah.
And I feel like I said, I've learned so much more, you know what I'm saying? Like the ins and outs of the business.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that the listeners should know about Gustavo or your experience?
I just want them to know that I'm happy. And I want you to know, too, that I'm happy here with the company. It's been a blast. It's been ups and downs, like you said. But being here with you has kept me. That's why I'm here, my family and everybody. And I appreciate that. And I know
Yeah.
I know what time it is about that. You know, I know how it is.
I
try to take care of everything. And
yeah. It's been great getting to meet your family over the years and see them at some of the company gatherings and all that kind of stuff. I
look forward to more of that. You know, I like that stuff, you know. So
we're going to try to do more of it. Yeah. So just obviously did our 10-year anniversary picnic. And so Gustavo was there with his whole family. So cool. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. If we didn't miss anything else, then we'll kind of wrap it here. But appreciate you sharing your experience. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway that I've got from this is, again, another awesome example of a guy that at 18 years old just said, hey, I want to provide for myself. I want to earn. And money's pretty good in construction, so let's go check it out. And you stuck with it. One of the other things we talked about that we didn't really we talked about off air, but we haven't talked about here on camera is that you've never been laid off anywhere. I have never so there's job security. That's a credit to you.
Yeah, I know that I've been there. You know, they needed me. You know, I've never been the guy that's missing, you know.
Yeah.
I might have messed up here and there, but I was always there.
And because we're about the same age. And so I know I went through some really hard times, 08, 09, 10. You did too, but there was always enough work. You were always valuable enough.
That's what kept me afloat.
Yeah.
That's what kept me going.
You separated yourself by them knowing, hey, I can rely on Gustavo.
Yeah.
You know, so So that's, again, another beauty of this industry. And that's one of the things I like to say when I decided to get into construction or engineering. You know, you look at like our companies or our country's infrastructure, most of the highways were built 75 years ago. A lot of them have 100-year useful life. So all that means
they're ready to get redone.
Right. There's always reconstruction, new construction. We're still growing. There's no reason there shouldn't be 100% job placement if this is the kind of work you want to do.
There always should be work.
Yeah. So, and plus, you know, like your brother George did. Hey, he went to Texas and he found opportunity. You know, there's opportunity everywhere. All you got to do is be willing to take it and want it and look. Yeah. So
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being part of the team. Thank you for 5 great years at Burgess and hopefully many more to come. And we're going to continue to try to create opportunity for you to continue to grow and take your next step when that opportunity presents itself. And you're just thankful to have you and your expertise on the team and appreciate all your production and hard work and leadership.
10-4. I appreciate that. And I appreciate everything the company does for me and my team too. So
cool.
Yeah, we're all happy right now. And that's how we work the best. You know, like I tell them, let's be happy.
Yeah.
And not work hard, work happy. We're all happy. We're all working happy. It gets more work done. We're all just in sync, helping each other.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Burgess Civil Podcast, where our greatest asset is our people. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please give us a review, a like, or a subscribe. We're on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Please follow us on social media. You can see about upcoming episodes, give us feedback, or tell us about content you might want to see on a future podcast. You can find all of our social media channels in the description below. And we hope you will continue to follow us on our construction journey at Burgess Civil.